Emily could barely hold her phone as she tried to call him again, praying that he would answer and reassure her that he was fine. She waited in agony for him to pick up, but the phone went straight to voicemail. She left him a desperate voicemail, her voice trembling as she spoke. Please, please be alive. Please be okay. I need you. Call me back, please. She hung up the phone and sat in silence, her mind racing with thoughts of the worst. She couldn't believe that her boyfriend, whom she loved with all her heart, was in danger and possibly injured or worse. She buried her head in her hands, feeling lost and helpless. The not knowing was driving her insane, and she couldn't shake the feeling that something terrible had happened to Carlos. She tried to calm herself down, taking deep breaths and telling herself that everything would be all right. But her fear and worry were too strong, and she couldn't shake the feeling of dread that had settled in her gut. The weight was almost unbearable. She felt like time was standing still as she sat there, hoping and praying that Carlos would call her back, that he would give her some sign that he was okay. He opened his eyes, feeling a throbbing pain in his body. He looked around, taking in his surroundings, and realized he was in a hospital room. His head felt foggy, and he winced in pain as he attempted to move. He saw his phone on the side table and grabbed it, noticing the missed calls from his girlfriend, Emily. He felt a mix of relief and worry as he saw her calls. He knew she must have been worried sick, not knowing what had happened to him. He took a deep, ragged breath as he dialed her number. The phone rang a few times before she picked up. Emily's voice came through, sounding both worried and desperate. Carlos, is that you? He closed his eyes, glad to hear her voice. Yeah, it's me, he said weakly, his voice still hoarse from the pain. Thank God. I've been worried out of my mind. Are you okay? What happened? She asked, her voice trembling with concern. He took a deep, painful breath, trying to focus his thoughts. I got shot during the attack on my family house, he said, his voice cracking with pain. She gasped, her heart feeling like it was being crushed. Shot? Oh my God, are you hurt badly? Where are you right now? Are you okay? She asked, firing off questions in her panic. He winced, trying to ignore the pain as he spoke. I'm in the hospital. I'm hurt, but the doctors say I'll be okay. I just have a few gunshot wounds, he said, trying to downplay the severity of his injuries. She felt a sense of relief hearing that he was in the hospital and that the doctors said he would be okay. Thank God, I was so worried, she said, her voice softer now. I wanted to come and see you, but I didn't know if it was safe. He closed his eyes again, feeling tired but also touched by her concern. It's safer for you to stay where you are right now, he said, his voice weak. I don't want you getting caught in any more trouble, but I really wish you were here with me. She couldn't help but feel a lump in her throat as she heard how tired and weary he sounded. I wish I could be there too. I miss you, she said, her voice filled with love and longing. She heard his words and felt a mix of excitement and worry. Are you sure it's safe? I don't want anything to happen to me or you, she said, her voice still filled with concern. He took a ragged breath, wincing in pain as he spoke. I trust my guards. They'll make sure you get here safely. I need to see you, Emily, he said, his voice soft but filled with desperation. She felt her heart skip a beat at his words, and she knew she couldn't refuse him. Okay, I'll come. But promise me you'll be careful, please, she said, her voice trembling with worry. He nodded weakly, even though she couldn't see him. I will. I promise. Just hurry, okay? He said, his voice fading a bit. She could hear the exhaustion in his voice, and it made her even more determined to see him. I'm on my way. I'll be there soon, she said, her voice filled with love and determination. He had been drifting in and out of consciousness, the pain medications keeping him hazy and disoriented. But when he heard the sound of footsteps coming towards his room, he opened his eyes. As she walked through the door, his expression changed from one of pain to one of relief and love. Emily, you came, he said, his voice hoarse but filled with emotion. She rushed to his side, tears streaming down her face as she looked at him. Of course I came, she said, her voice trembling with emotion. I couldn't bear the thought of you being in here alone. He reached out weakly to take her hand, his grip gentle but firm. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for coming, he said, his voice filled with gratitude. She moved closer to him, feeling the weight of her worry and fear start to lift now that she was by his side. She took in his appearance, seeing the bandages wrapped around his body and the IV tubes connected to him. It made her heart ache, but she pushed the feeling aside and focused on being strong for him. How are you feeling? How bad are your injuries? She asked, her voice filled with concern. He winced in pain as he shifted his weight on the bed. It hurts, but the doctors say I'll be okay eventually. I have some stitches and the gunshot wounds are a bit deep, but they'll heal in time, he said, his voice still hoarse but steady. She nodded, feeling a mix of relief and worry at his words. That's good. I'm just glad you're alive. You scared me so much. I didn't know if I was going to lose you, she said, her voice catching in her throat. He lifted her hand to his lips, pressing a tender kiss against her knuckles. I'm sorry for scaring you like that. I never wanted to worry you, he said, his voice filled with love. She leaned closer to him, her heart overflowing with love and worry. It's not your fault. I just hate seeing you hurt like this, she said, her voice filled with tenderness. I wish I could take all the pain away from you. He shook his head weakly, a small smile on his lips. You being here is enough, he said, his voice growing softer. Just having you by my side makes me feel stronger. She squeezed his hand gently, feeling her heart swell with love. I'm not going anywhere. I'll stay by your side until you're healed completely. I promise, she vowed, her voice full of conviction. They both looked up, surprised to see his mother standing in the doorway. His mother's expression hardened as she took in the sight of her son lying in the hospital bed and Emily holding his hand. "What is she doing here?" his mother asked firmly. Her tone edged with hostility as she looked at Emily with a cold gaze. "Mom, please calm down," he said weakly, trying to diffuse the tension in the room. "She's here because she cares about me." His mother scoffed, her gaze still fixed on Emily with contempt. "She's a member of our rival family. She's the enemy," she said, her voice filled with venom. "She has no place here."